How's it going, guys? My name is Zach with the Movie Castle, and today we're going to be taking a look at Epitaphs from the Abyss. This is put out by EC Comics, and it's an anthology horror comic with 4 short stories in it. Now, EC Comics, obviously best known for Tales from the Crypt, they did a lot of cool comics back in the day. Vault of Horror, shock suspense stories, weird science, lots of stuff, a classic label. Well, now Oni Press has brought it back, and they're putting out a new EC Comics book, but sadly, it's not really that great. Like, none of the stories in here really stuck in my mind that well. There was nothing interesting or special or engaging, and a lot of the art is just kind of so-so on the inside. Short stories, I feel like a lot of people, when they're tasked to write them, they just kind of throw something out and forget about it. It's a short story, so why put in the effort? Well, when you're dealing with the legacy of EC Comics and when you're giving us an issue 1 to start out a brand new line, I would appreciate the effort, but the stories in here just aren't that great. Breaking things down a little bit more, it's called Epitaphs from the Abyss because an epitaph is what's written on a tombstone, and this new gravedigger character, a classic-looking EC host, a old man with a shovel that hangs out in the graveyard, he's obsessed with tombstones and epitaphs. I really wish that the stories would all end with the tombstones of whatever characters died in the story, but we don't get that. He's pretty much just a page at the beginning and a few comments every so often throughout the book. Not a really great presence, and why can't we just have the Crypt Keeper? I guarantee you it's gotta be a rights issue, because we all just want Tales from the Crypt back. Whatever. Out of the 4 stories, there's no great ones. The best one is probably the first one. It's a kind of funny but super tropey story about this writer and his friend wrote a better script than him and he's gonna try to steal it. We know 100% where this story is going, but there's some good laughs even if it's predictable. It's a B-side anthology horror story, and sadly it's the best one in here. The second story is sadly political brain rot. You can interweave politics into a story if you want to, if you're Jordan Peele or George Romero or something, but there's a difference between interweaving politics and just preaching at your audience. The third one, I honestly keep forgetting what it was about, but it's basically just a knockoff of M. Night Shyamalan's Knock at the Cabin. A family and they have to pick one of them to kill. Cool, whatever. And then the last one is this weird zombie story that is also political. I won't spoil what it's about, but I honestly have no idea what they were meaning or trying to go for here, and it's just one of those you pop in for a minute, go, wow, that was weird, and then it's over. And I mean, at least we got some gooey monster characters. Those were kind of fun. But yeah, 2 out of the 4 are political, 1 was super forgettable, and 1 was standard and tropey. There's just, like, I'm not gonna remember this too long after I put it down, and we're talking EC Comics. They're supposed to be big, classic, memorable stories, and this is just flat, and I'm gonna forget about it. I'm sorry. Overall, it's not the best. It's got a cool cover with pretty solid construction, so at least it looks nice on the shelf, but beyond that, the cover's cool, but what's inside is just forgettable, so not the best start. I can't really recommend it. But if you guys want to see in a little bit more details, I'm going to switch to the close-up camera. I'll show you guys some of the story and some of the art. No major spoilers, but if you want to see more, then let's switch to the close-up camera. Alright, here we are inside the castle, taking a closer look at Epitaphs from the Abyss number 1. Bring it closer to the camera, we get the classic EC big block of color at the top, July, number 1, and then we get this really nice painting of this couple hiding under the bed while the monsters are nearby. There's fire and chainsaws. It looks really, really cool. The back is a bit of an ad talking about the new EC Comics, and it's $4.99, 16+. This is cover A, and we get 00111. And there's Oni Press right there. Cracking the book open, we get to see the credit line, and we get to see who's doing all these different stories there. Anyway, after that, we're gonna get into the stories proper. I'm not gonna do any major spoilers, but I do want to say my piece on a few plot points, and make sure you guys have a basic understanding as to what the story is about, but I'll try not to ruin them, although that being said, some of these are very predictable, but whatever. Let's take a look inside. Anyway, we open up, there's our new host character, the Gravedigger, and he talks about epitaphs, and we get, she died as she lived alone, in this corpse there. And yeah, that's not any character from the story as far as I can tell. I wish that this was related to those characters, but he also gives us a little summary for each story, and then we're into the 4 stories. This first one, Killer Spec, is about a writer, and we do get a fair bit of humor with him looking around at all these other writers and judging them for being a poser when he's clearly a genius, clearly missing the fact that he's in the same coffee shop with them. He goes home to his roommate, and his roommate has written a script called The Monster, and he's going to read it for him, and much to his surprise, the script is actually really, really good, and he says, for the sake of the art, I can't have someone as stupid as my roommate be publishing a script this good, and he's going to kill him and take his script. And this is Anthology horror, so I'm sure he's definitely going to get away with this, huh? Overall, I do like the humor of this guy being so arrogant. The story, though, is super predictable, and there's this weird bit at the end where they talk about how good endings of stories have to be, while simultaneously giving us a super predictable ending. I don't get that, but whatever. After that, we get the story Senator, and this is a reporter, and she's watching politics on TV. It turns out that there's a female politician that was conservative, however, she disagreed with her party on the issue of abortion. So we're going right on in and bringing in super serious politics, and her boss says, yeah, she probably flip-flopped because that way she would get support from her party, but the reporter wants to go and investigate. And to be fair, they tried to make this a bit of a story about flip-flopping, and they try to maybe keep it a little bit in the middle of the road, but not very well, and it does wind up being preachy and on the nose. She goes to the senator in Washington, and when she shows her a video of what she used to say, the senator starts to get a headache before being rushed into a van, and she tries to follow her to see what's going on. Overall, I mean, that start off of like, it's a mystery, wondering why she flipped, you think there might be something bigger going on here? It maybe had some potential to start off with, but it didn't really go anywhere other than, of course, a rant. And the art is kind of standard, you know? We're going to get worse art, don't worry. The third story is called Family Values, and we get this guy with a gun, and we get some very, very serious text talking about, oh, it's a gun, it has no ill will, but it's a tool for my will, and, you know, talking about life and stuff. It's very serious text for a super predictable story. You get this family, and basically some men with guns burst in and said that this father has to pick one of his family, himself, the mom, the older son, or the daughter, and one of them has to die by his hand, and he can choose whoever, but he has a timer, and if he doesn't choose, they're all going to die. Like I said, this is the exact plot of Knock at the Cabin, minus the cool apocalypse stuff, and there's a little bit going on talking about his son being the slacker and stuff, and getting to see the family turn on each other, but I honestly kept forgetting that this story was in here when I thought back at the book. It's just forgettable, and, you know, you don't have enough time to build out this family, you know, you don't have enough time to know these characters. This can't be done in this page length. And then lastly, we get Us versus Us, or maybe it's US versus Us or something, I don't know. But we get these two people running from the cabin, and the art here is a little off. They're being chased after by these monsters, and it is cool to see this artist draw these ooey gooey monsters, but yeah, when it's just a guy, it looks weird. But the monsters are going to catch them, and they basically say that they're after them because they burnt down their church, and the couple says, oh, we didn't know anyone was inside. So does that make burning down a building okay then? And then when you find out what these people are and why they became like this, I honestly not sure what they're trying to say with it. It's just one of those weird little stories that you go, well, that happened and then it's over. At least we get a cool monster with a chainsaw, but yeah, this is just kind of a confused mess. Overall, probably not the triumphant return EC Comics was hoping for, but you really gotta get some better, more compelling stories. I don't know, it just felt like, hey, we have the EC Comics brand, let's try to do something and get a bit of a cash grab, but that's honestly what this feels like. It should be Tales from the Crypt, and it should be better, and it's just not. But if you just want something to hang on your wall, it's at least a cool cover, but what's inside the book is really what counts. Whatever. To everyone who's watched so far, thank you for watching. To everyone who's liked and subscribed, thank you. You really are helping the channel out. I'll leave a relevant playlist on the bottom. This should be my issue number 1's playlist if you guys want to see me talk about other comics. Anyway, have a good day. I'll see you guys again very, very soon. Relevant playlist on the bottom. Have a good day now.